Thank you guys for clicking on the video. Back with another franchise hockey manager video, and we are picking up where we left off last video. We are first in the Eastern Conference, I believe. There are the standings right there, but we'll just double check real quickly. We'll go to conference, and we are first in the East by a point, which is what we like to see. However, we're first in the NHL as well, so we ended on quite a bit of a winning streak, I think. Let's hope. In the last video. Yep, we're on a little bit of a tear, a 3-game winning streak. We're playing against Carolina. We'll simulate to the next game. And so big news for me personally, just Franchise Hockey Manager Stream came out debuting some of the things that they are going to bring into the next game, which is a couple of weeks away. So ideally, I would like to get maybe 2 more seasons done with this Flyers. Maybe I don't know, maybe after this season we'll see if we can end on a Stanley Cup, send the team out on a good note. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below. But let's continue on. So the board conference update says this season has been a great success so far, and the team is in outstanding shape. The last few weeks the team plays good, but you need to ensure the team remains successful. So that's what we're looking at as of right now. And so, long term, they're happy with the work. Let's check real quickly down in the AHL for the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. A lot of young prospects are angry, but I understand why they have the rating system or the morale system the way they are, but they're very upset. Some of these guys aren't even playing right now, but they're just not going to get the ice time that they need, and so it's gonna be tough. I'm actually gonna sub. I'm actually going to get some playing time for this guy, and then we'll ask the assistant to switch the lines. There we go. So we're gonna go back up to the AHL or the NHL, but yeah, you look a lot of upset faces, but it's all young people. I mean, it's all youth right now, and we're trying to develop. Some of them are happy due to insufficient ice time, like Peterson. We just scratched him. Soderberg is angry because he was sent to a lower level team. But again, he's not going to make, even though he's going to look displeased, he's not really going to crack the NHL team. So, it is what it is. We're going to quickly update around the league, or not around the league, I should say, but just where we are at locally in the standings for the team rankings, and you can see pretty high up. Again, the PK, not where we'd like it to be, but it is what it is. So let's actually give Tomek the start for the back-to-back. We'll have Evan play the home game, so we're going to finish today. Hopefully we can get a win against Carolina, and then we'll resume mass simulating. Again, it's one of those things where we won 6-3. There we go. Kulikov 3 assists. Seth Jones 2 assists. Adam gets a goal. That's what we like to see. We are actually down, ironically, 3-1. We tacked on 2. Lawton, Silverberg get 2 goals, and then we rip off 3. Power play coming through. Let's see what the PK did. PK didn't have to do anything because we didn't take a penalty. So nice work there. And so we'll put Tomek, we'll bench him and have Evan play, and we'll simulate the next month. So we'll see through the month of December. Again, I don't really foresee a lot of changes in the trade deadline coming up because, we're first right now in the NHL. We're competitive regardless. We're playing Nashville. Nashville is second, and we win 2-1. They're second in the Central. But again, we're winning those games against good teams so far. And Kulikov is leading the league in assists as a defenseman, which is really cool to see. Couturier is tied for third with the league lead for the league lead in goals, I should say. And then we lose 4-3. I don't know if it was an overtime loss. I wasn't paying attention. It may have been, but still, we're playing well. I don't know what we really want to talk about. Just be mindful of Edmonton. Or not Edmonton, the New York Islanders, because they are that team that we're going to have to go up against at some point in the playoffs, I feel like, unless they lose. And they've had a great team, especially these last 4 years. We beat up on Edmonton 6-3. And And so again, you can see what's going on. The Blues acquire Brady off of waivers. They claim Matt Calvert off of waivers. The Bruins do. Back-to-backs on the road. We win against Vancouver, and Vancouver is, where are they? I think they may actually be bottom barrel. I can't. Oh no, they're sixth. There we go. They're sixth in the Pacific, and then we beat LA, which LA they're sort of in years past they were up there. Remember they signed Stamkos, Okposo. They have some firepower, and they're sort of trailing off in the middle of December. Again, another game against Vancouver. I think the second this week. We win 4-2, so we win both games against Vancouver. And now we're really on a roll, 4 points ahead of Tampa for the President's Trophy. But, I mean, if you guys have been watching the series, like in years past, we've won the President's Trophy before and have been knocked out in the second round. So it's nothing to get too crazy about. Another trade, LA has been making a lot of moves. Remember in the last video they made a little bit, a couple of some trades. I think they had 2 trades. And let's see how their team looks. They may have shaken things up a little bit. Yeah, they still have Stamkos, I think, and they still have Okposo at 32. So they're trying. They also have Eberle. I mean, they have some guns, and maybe it's just not clicking. Do they? I don't know if they still have. They don't. Oh, they still have Doughty. He's at $8 million for 4 years. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's just that they have so much money tied up. I mean, let's go to their cap and just see what's the deal is. Yeah, I mean, 9 Stamkos, 8 in Doughty, 7 Okposos, 6 in Eberle. I mean, and then they're stretched so thin throughout the rest of the team. So, anyways, back to enough about the LA Kings. We're going to let Evan take a rest. We're going to put Tomek in for this back-to-back on the road. That's a little bit of a brutal stretch for a goaltender. So, giving, I should say, Evan the night off against St. Louis. Let's see how we fare. And then we'll continue back to simulating. I would hope to get it right before the trade deadline in this video. That's my aim. That's my goal. And we win 5-1. So Tomek pretty much doing his job. I mean, we only ask him to come in and be a solid substitute. Hurdle gets a goal. Voracek. And then we pour on 3 in the second. Let's see the PK, because that's been the struggle bust for us. 0 for 4, so great job by the PK. And that's sort of the storyline throughout the season, pretty much in the past couple of years too. We've seen that we can build teams that our top 2 lines are really offensively gifted. The top 2 lines for us, I would even say statistically in years past, have carried the load. Then the bottom 2 sort of fizzle out, and we lose a barn burner 7-5 against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has sort of trailed off after their couple of years of us battling back and forth with them. We've maintained the course, but they're having a rough stretch so far, so maybe they can turn around. And now we play Anaheim out west, and we win 2-1. I thought we almost lost there, but we win 2-1. Now we have a stretch for Christmas, as it is December 24th, the year 2020. If you're looking at the calendar, there it is. And actually, I don't know if that was another trade, but LA made a trade. The Hurricanes traded Patrick McNally to the Coyotes. And then Arizona and Anaheim making deals. So teams are starting. The trade deadline's still like a month, 2 months away, and teams are still pretty active trying to figure out their squad. And for us, you see Kulikov, Doughty, big year for defensemen and assists. We win 5-2 against Colorado. Evan is sort of battling for team wins. There we go, for wins. So Montreal 5th in the Atlantic, trying to creep up in there for that 3rd place in the Atlantic. 2 points behind Boston, but we beat them 4-3, and I don't think it was an overtime loss. So we're tied with Tampa. Tampa and Philadelphia, us, are battling for that President's Trophy, but we're not even halfway done through the season. So a lot of hockey still left to be played, but we do end 2020 on a win, which is good news for us. I want to take a look at the NHL 20 to 21 player poll. Let's see if we have any. Let's see if any Flyers made it, shall we? And we'll also take a look at that trade. that happen. A center for a right D, so let's see if they're anything special. 3.5 stars, 4 stars. So, maybe they're looking to fill some holes for both teams, and they're not really giving up anything too much. So the player polls. The annual newspaper poll of the National Hockey Players was published today with some surprising results. Best skater, Jeff Skinner. Hardest shot, Erik Karlsson. For Calgary, so you see he made a switch. He's no longer on Ottawa. Sidney Crosby is the smartest. Toughest is Connor Crisp. David Pastrnak is the fastest. Best role model, Johnny T. Cleanest is Simon for the Oilers. And so no one for the Flyers made the player polls, but that's all right. And there's the progress report. A lot of AHL stuff, and that's what we like to see. And you see Giroux starting to trickle off. So is Voracek as well. So it's sort of that writing on the wall. You see Giroux starting to trickle off. He is, I think, 32 now. But I think we're hoping that he has one more great season in him. And that's when his contract is up as well. So that's going to be interesting because I think this is his big contract. And it's going to be interesting up next. He's going to want that he's going to want like a $6 million, I would think. He's not going to want more money beyond $8 million. I wouldn't think, but he's still going to want a lot of money. And so it's going to be interesting after next year. Do we let him walk? Will we even come to that point? Because I would like to get to, because Franchise Hockey Manager 3, like I said, is a couple weeks out. But we win 1-0 against Chicago. We actually got shut out the game before that. I forget who shut us out. I think it was Dallas. Us. But anyways, struggling Pittsburgh 6th in the Metropolitan. They're coming in. Again, they got to start righting their ship. If they want to try and push for the playoffs, they're only 4 points out. It's pretty tough in the Metropolitan. But we win 6-4, so there we go. There we go. And the Red Wings seeking a spark. They actually boot the head coach. And so the Red Wings, we'll take a look at where they are. 7th in the Atlantic, trying to figure out. But if you look, this is what I'm talking about. Right now, you think, they're sort of struggling, but they're only, well, actually, never mind. They're 13 points out of a playoff spot. I thought that said like 40. I was looking and the numbers jumbled up, but I can see why they want a coaching change. Halfway through the year, this is where they're sort of on that fringe point, and we lose to Carolina 5-1. They're sort of at that fringe point where do they sort of tank? Do they try to make some trades to try and make that playoff push? So back-to-backs against New York and Pittsburgh, 2 tough opponents. I'm actually going to put Tomek in, hopefully, for the Pittsburgh one. And Mike Babcock, he could be out as St. Louis. You're seeing a message right there. Mike Babcock could be on his way out. That would be an interesting move. So we're going to try and finish up. Let's see. The trade deadline is March 1st. We'll get to the end of January. We'll make this a short video. Let's try and get to the end of January, and then we can, we'll try and finish out the season in the next video beyond the trade deadline, because I don't think we're going to make trades. This team, we lose back-to-back. We lose to Pittsburgh 5-1, so Tomek struggles a little bit, but that's all right. We've pretty much set this team up to be a contending team. So, I don't know. It's getting a little bit tighter with Edmonton starting to creep up there. They're 1 point behind us and Tampa. You'll also see with Babcock being out soon down the bottom, you see the Red Wings make a trade. So we'll actually take a look after this week is done simulating. I'll take a look at that trade and see, is that sign that they're going to try and make that push for the playoffs, or are they going to tank a little bit and try and get a good draft pick, realize that they need to retool a little bit, spend some years building through the draft? Who knows? So we went against the Islanders 4-2, which is a big point because the Islanders are going to be, I think, a team we're going to have to do battle with eventually in the playoffs. But either way, it's good to get prepared for them because, again, they're the type of team that once they get in the playoffs, they can win. And we lose 5-2 against Florida. I'll put Tomek in net for the Toronto game, but let's check the National Hockey League. And let's check the Red Wings hire coach Paul Maurice. Oh, here's the trade. This is the trade that we wanted to see. So the Hockey News Network is reporting that the Coyotes and Red Wings have consummated a trade. Detroit will receive Samuel Girard, which he's 22. Okay, this is a big move. He's a 22-year-old right defenseman. You can see his stats. He's pretty incredible. And what did they give up? Grant, which I would imagine he's a little bit of a fringe prospect, a 7th-round pick, and the rights to Zach Fakal. And so Detroit making that move to shore up their blue line, that's the move that we were sort of talking about, is will Detroit make a move? And they do. And they give up some pieces. They give up a draft. The league analyst said it's a pretty even transaction. But Detroit shores up that blue line. So let's check actually Detroit's... let's check that real quick. Let's just check their roster and see with that trade what that does to them. So with Girard coming in, you can see they have Jacobs. So I mean, they fill out that core defensively. They have some young defensemen that can come up, and goalies. They have Mrazek in there. He's 28. They don't really need a goaltender. So I see the trade working. It's a good trade. So let's go back though to Philadelphia, and let's end this season, or not this season, but let's end the month off on a good note. Hopefully we can beat Toronto. And I would also like to see, have we improved on that PK? So we lose 5-2. Let's put Evan back in. See, and this is the thing, when we look like we're doing so well, we still have hiccups, and we're still, after all that, 2 points behind Edmonton. So that may do it actually for the month of January, and I think so. I think that we shouldn't have. I'll probably sim one more game. Let's try and get a win before we end the episode. We're coming up here. Yeah. So we have the All-Star game. You see Arizona and Dallas making a trade. Toronto and Minnesota. You see Minnesota and Toronto. So maybe these two teams trying to figure out their places. Maybe that's interesting. Two contending teams a little bit halfway through the season making a trade. We'll try and show you guys what that trade is once we get through. I would imagine this is probably All-Star. I would think All-Star weekend with the games with the break in the schedule and with the rosters being announced and stuff. Oh, never mind. Actually, I'm stupid. That's a mistake by me, guys. I apologize. Let's simulate up to Columbus, but let's see the players of the month. The Islanders, Carl, and then let's see this trade real quick, and then we'll call it a video. David Quenneville on his way to Minnesota for a 2nd-round pick. So Minnesota giving up a player, maybe they have too many right defensemen. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to load up on draft picks. Who knows? The roster for the All-Star game. Do we have any Flyers in the game? Let's see. I actually didn't see any, but maybe I'm partially blind. No, I didn't see any. Yeah, I didn't see any, but maybe I missed it. I don't know. But let's do one more week, and then we'll call it quits. We'll call it quits. One more week into February. Still a pretty tight race. The big thing for us in the Metropolitan is we have to I would like to create a little bit more space between New York and us. That would be my goal, but we have to take the games, how we get them. Minnesota, they're second in the Central. They just made a trade. Can we they parted ways with that defenseman for that draft pick, so let's see if that has any impact. We win 7-2. So there we go. And Nugent Hopkins signs a 5-year extension with Edmonton, so he's staying put for a long time. Finally, New York. I do not know if it's the Rangers or the Islanders, but we'll find out after the simulation. Let's see. Galchenyuk stays in Montreal. So we beat the Rangers, and the Rangers, man, they're struggling. They're struggling. Last in the Metropolitan, and we'll end it there. So, Subban happy to stay with Colorado. Malcolm, not PK. Malcolm stays put in Colorado. That's good news for them. He's played pretty well. Look at his stats. I mean, he's a pretty good goaltender. It's this season though. He's a little bit uneven, but just his stats though, I would love to get him on our team. The board record in the last month is 5-4-1, but what are you going to do? Let's check. The big thing I want to check is where we rank in the PK. We bumped up, so we moved up from 19th to 18th in about a month's time. I don't know if that's enough of improvement. Let's check Lehigh Valley Phantoms, who's doing what. So we'll check the offense stats. Who's leading the team in points? It's Suter, the 21-year-old. He's playing big. Mullen, he could be up for, he could be bumped up next year in goals. Mullen, Suter, Jones, and assists. Suter. And the left defenseman at 26. I think he's a veteran in the minors. So that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. I'll send you off with some points. Couturier, Zucker, Kulikov leading the team in points. In assists, it's Kulikov, Couturier, Zucker. Goals, it flips to Zucker, Couturier, and Hurdle. And Voracek's having a little bit of a trail-off year so far. I mean, and you look at his shots, I mean, he's fourth in the team in shots. So he's getting the shots, but I mean, he's, let's see if he's, let's see how the year plays out. I mean, I think he's on pace to track his, or to match his, he gets about 30 goals. He's more of an assist guy traditionally for us. But last year, 71 assists. That was his career high, and he blew by his career high by, you see 14 and 15, he had 59 assists. So, he's going about average at 31. His contract again, he's up. He still has this contract is just amazing. It's amazing. So he's getting paid all right. He's getting paid. So I'll leave it here, guys. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what we should do for the team, especially for the trade deadline coming up. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I am Sully, and I will see you in the next Franchise Hockey Manager video.